Hi, Mr. Green. You look well for all that's on your plate, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. How are you?
Thinking about you so much. Yeah, you're all working so hard. Thank you all.
Can I have, where are the
Oh.
We'll give a couple more minutes as folks are coming in.
Ms. Hughart, is there food at this meeting tonight? Where's the food?
There is, it was taco night at my house. So there's got some downstairs, but ugh. It's so weird doing these events virtually. I love the energy of being live and in person for events with families. So it's,
Right, I know.
it's getting used to it, but
We're getting there. We're up to about, what, 47 people?
Oops, I keep hitting the screen. Okay. All right, so we can go ahead and get started. I am recording this, just FYI, and so this will be available on the counseling website probably by midday tomorrow. And I do ask that folks mute themselves if they're not presenting. We do have some guest stars this evening. It's very exciting. And it just helps keep the background noise quiet and down. If you have questions or anything like that that you want to bring up, we're going to use our chat function, and we'll have two of our counselors monitoring the chat. My video looks crazy, and I apologize for that. I'm Meg Hughart. I'm the Director of School Counseling at the high school. You've probably seen a lot of emails from me, and that does not mean I am your child's school counselor. We're going to meet the team in just a couple minutes. Welcome to the class of 2024 information night. And tonight we're really going to be talking about maximizing your 4 years here at Burlington High School. Right now, I'm going to turn the floor over to Principal Noel Green. He's going to have the floor to share a welcome and some thoughts on the year.
Thank you, Ms. Hughart. Was that the only picture that you had of me?
You look happy, and you're at the high school. It looks warm. So, like a good one.
I wish you would have had one of the pictures from when I was an extra in those movies that I referred to in the morning videos.
Next time.
Next time. All right, great. Good evening, everyone. My name is Noel Green. I'm the principal of Burlington High School. This is my 5th year at the school. I was 2 years the assistant principal. Now I'm going my 3rd year as the principal. One thing that I've tried to do over the past few weeks is to say a little bit about myself to our 9th graders, because they unfortunately have not had the opportunity to get to know me as well as they would have if we had been in person. I was excited about that first day when we had the 9th grade orientation to meet students in the 2 different ways. We had the first group in the morning and the second group in the afternoon. And I was so impressed at how the 9th graders did on that day. So if that day was a representative sample of how they are doing and how they are going to do, I'm very optimistic. They came in, they were following directions, they all had their masks on, so I thought that they did a great job. I think about the start of the year, and I just want to assure 9th graders that this current situation will not be your full high school experience. We're asking that you stay strong and persevere, because this will pass. We will not be doing remote for your whole high school career. So rest assured of that. And we're working very hard to rectify the situation and find us a location for us to be. That being said, I'm really proud of how many of you have started being engaged in your classes and really leaning in as best you can in this virtual model. It's so strange to hear the word, the year 2024, because it seems so far away. But I just want you to know, it seems far away now, but high school can go by pretty quickly. You blink and next thing you know, you're a senior. And what we want you to do is take time to really enjoy it as you're here. There's so many activities that we want you to get involved with, including athletics, the drama program, the clubs, all sorts of things that keep students connected. And although some of those things look a little different this year, we still want you to get involved. And some of them actually didn't look that different, because if you look at athletics, for example, we had close to 300 students that were involved in athletics during the fall. I'm not sure what the winter will look like. There are fewer sports, but we're still hoping to be able to have a season. So that's one way in which you can get involved. So our goal is this evening is to start to lay out that 4-year plan, giving you an idea about that high school map and the journey that you'll take, but also to describe the supports that you're going to have along the way. And I want people to know that I am one of those supports, along with the counselors, along with teachers, along with the student support staff. So there are a variety of people who are all rowing in the same direction to support you. You have a very strong counseling team. I'm proud of the work that they've done. And now more than ever, please lean in with your counselors if you need support, because these are tough times. They're here for you. They will make time in their schedule to support you, no matter what the situation is. And please feel free to email me or call if you have any questions or concerns. I look forward to interacting with you more and more as we provide more opportunities to be in person, and I wish you well. I will pass it back over to Ms. Hughart.
Thanks, Ms. Principal Green. Oops, I keep hitting the screen and going forward. I appreciate that, your words tonight. Thank you. We all know there's a lot going on, so I'm really thankful that you're able to take some time to greet everyone this evening. Tonight, we got our welcome done. Next up, we're going to meet the BHS school counselors, which is a little tricky virtually, so we're just going to show the alphabet breakdown. We're going to talk a little bit about graduation requirements. That's always a hot topic. We're going to talk about building your 4 years here at Burlington High School and really making them meaningful. And we're also going to get into some resources that we have available, particularly for 9th graders. So we have folks from Upward Bound and BSAC here as well. We will allow time for question and answers at the end. We also have the chat function, and we have 2 of our counselors, Maggie and Tony, are going to be monitoring the chat. So I will pause now and again and just check in to see if there's any questions popping up there that we should address as a group. So chat's probably going to be the best way, because there's going to be a lot of information. But feel free to save them for the end as well. And we're looking forward to working with you and your student, your family over the next 4 years. So the counselors, we are a team of 5 counselors. I'm Meg, I'm at the bottom there. I have your last names T through Z. We've got Lise Bruder, she has last names A through E. What that means is if your last name begins with the letters A through E, you're automatically with Lise Bruder. Karen Prouty has the last names F through L. Maggie Weintraub has the last names M through S. And then Tony Settle works with all of our EL students. We also are a pretty collaborative team. We work really closely together, which I think just brings a lot of strength. If you have an older sibling at the high school and you feel like your name is out of order, that maybe you have a different counselor, we do try to group family members together. So you would have the same counselor as perhaps an older sibling had. So school counseling, what we do, it's similar to what you experienced in the middle schools. We work in 3 key domains, and those are the academic, career and college, and social emotional. So academic could be anything from scheduling classes to academic concerns. If you're not sure if this is the right placement for you, if you're not sure what classes to take, if you're hoping to get into AP classes down the road, we are a starting point for that conversation. Additionally, career and college. Our end goal ultimately is to help make students contributing members to their society. So we want to see people that are able to give back to their community. We want to help build people that can give back to their community, that will find a career which they find fulfilling. And so we're going to start doing a lot of work with career exploration with our students. And this is starting new really with your class, this 9th grade class. We'll be starting that, and I'll talk about that in a little bit coming in January. We also do a lot of college exploration and post-secondary planning, and that will really start beginning spring of your sophomore year, starting to think about testing and what colleges might be a good fit for me. We do support all paths for students, where not just everyone needs to go to a 4-year college, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. And finally, the social emotional pieces, as we call sometimes the drama. It's very normal in high school. So it could be anything ranging from friendships, relationships with your family, stress management, any sort of troubling situation. And if you're having a tough time with something, please feel free to reach out to us. We absolutely want to be there for you and supportive of you. We do have rules around confidentiality, and this is very important for you all to know. The times that we do have to break confidentiality, and this is true of any counselor, is if we are aware of that you're going to harm yourself. If someone is harming you, or if you have plans to harm someone else, then we do break that confidentiality in the interest of protecting people. So in school, normally you would pop by the counseling office. I guess you could still email us when we're live and in person as well. But you can come by. We've got a great support staff. They help schedule meetings. You can use our electronic schedulers. We love meeting with students. We do a lot of paperwork, but the live face-to-face with you all is the best part of the job. Now that we're in this remote land, email is king. So unfortunately, it's a lot of emailing us for meetings. And I know that's tricky. And at the end of the day, everyone's sort of tired of it. So we are hoping to have some spaces soon where we can meet with students in a socially distanced setting. So more on that, hopefully in the next week or so. And Maggie and Tony, I'm going to pause real quick. Anything from the chat, or should we keep going?
People are just curious if we're starting at Edmonds.
That's a great question. And so I should have prefaced with that because that's the hot topic. I got all excited about school counseling. So we don't have any answers yet for that. And trust me, it is a high priority on everyone's plate. And we're hoping for an answer or a decision sometime very soon, but we don't have any, it's not an exciting announcement tonight in that sense. Any other questions right now?
That's it so far.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, graduation requirements. This is an important piece, an important screen for you all to see. Of our 4 core, so the 4 core academic classes, English, we require 4 credits, which is each credit is equal to a full year, if that helps. Or in this year with our 4x4 schedule, if your child is in English this semester, meaning from August to January, they're earning a credit of English. Okay, sorry. For math, it's going to be 3 credits. Oh, wait a minute. I'm on a computer I don't usually use. It's very sensitive, which is nice. Math will be 3 credits. Social studies will be 3 credits. And science will be 3 credits. And typically with science, we like to see the progression of earth science, bio, and then chemistry or physics. Additionally, we do require 2 credits in world language. So that would be up through Spanish 2, French 2, Latin 2, and then hopefully once our German program is up and running again, German 2. Fine art credit, 0.5 health credit, 1.5 physical education credits. And I'm going to add a quick note about that. You are able to earn your PE credits through athletics. And so you can earn up to a half credit through athletics. So if you participate sophomore, junior, or senior year on an athletic team, you may earn up to a 1/4 credit per season per sport. We do have to have 1 full credit in our site's PE classes. And then additionally, we have our electives, which are 6 to 7 credits, depending. Sometimes students will end up taking 4 years of math, which we strongly recommend if you're looking at 4-year colleges. Same thing with science and social studies. You may have heard in the past about our year-end studies program. Traditionally, this is a great end of year. It's the first 2 weeks in June, or the last week in May, first week in June. And there's a myriad of options available of stand-up paddleboarding, environmental science. You could do a trip to Utah where they go visit an animal shelter and hike some of the national parks. there's a lot of awesome opportunities with our year-end studies or a YES program. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we are not offering year-end studies this year. So that means traditionally you would have been required to complete a full credit of year-end studies. You earn a quarter credit a year, but because we can't offer programming this spring, we're lowering that requirement for your class down to 0.75 credits. And the other piece of graduation requirements is going to be community service. We believe deeply in giving back, and there are a lot of opportunities for students to do that. We have an amazing community service coordinator, Ms. Dupuis. She's got opportunities coming up all the time. You are asked to complete 10 hours per year. However, we don't check it every year. So inevitably we have seniors, spring semester, senior year, trying to get 40 hours done. So we really recommend that you keep an eye on that. We can help you track it. We can log in and see how many you've completed. And we really recommend staying on top of that as much as you are able. And this slide is chock full of information. So I am going to pause again. Maggie, do we need to go to the chat?
I'm going to save some of the questions for the end, Meg, but nothing about this yet.
Okay, thank you. Additionally, some of you all may have heard about the personal learning plans, or PLP. There's a lot of questions, and this is definitely an evolving process in Vermont in general. There are, I think, over 40 US states altogether that require some sort of learning portfolio like this upon graduating from high school. So it is a state graduation requirement. And what it is really is a portfolio of work that meets our graduation expectations. The lingo, as we call it, the GXs. So our graduation expectations, meaning things we want to see our students demonstrate by the time they earn their Burlington High School diploma, are critical thinking and problem solving, cross-cultural understanding, missing an ing there, and civic engagement, effective communication, problem solving, curiosity, and creativity. There are going to be opportunities for our ninth graders all the way through high school, both in and out of class time, to contribute to this plan. Some of our curriculum already builds this in. Our humanities program for freshmen, you're probably already completing assignments for your PLP. There's also many different ways this can fit, and so many different pieces that can fit into this. It feels large, and it probably feels a bit stressful until you sit down and you start working with someone on actually uploading work into this portfolio, and you realize, oh, effective communication. I had to do a TikTok video for this class to show the importance of not vaping, how bad vaping is, and I developed a PSA. That would be an effective communication right there, and that would demonstrate that graduation expectation. Also know that you are not expected to finish this freshman year. You are expected to finish it through your senior year. The idea is you would have these expectations mastered by the time you graduate. So don't fret if you can't think of anything in this minute that you've done. This is a plan, it's a work in progress, and you will add to it throughout your 4 years of high school. Ninth grade testing. I was looking at this with a parent lens of what you'd all like to know about. And there are two big tests for ninth graders, neither of which will dictate graduation progress or anything like that. So one is the SBAC, the Smarter Balanced Assessment, and this is done with our ninth grade English language arts and math classes, typically in the spring. The other is the PE Fitnessgram, which is a Vermont requirement. Again, you don't need to pass it. These are really just assessments to show where Burlington High School is at a whole. It's not designed to target your individual performance as a student. And a question that's probably coming is, what will this look like in times of COVID and with our school being closed due to PCBs? And I don't know yet. We are working on that, and we will relay information as soon as we have more. It is a topic that we are discussing with the state, with the Agency of Education, as they are the ones that do mandate these tests. Both of these tend to take place spring semester, so we have some time to figure that out, and these are not items that our ninth graders should be worried about. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to move on. Grading. So I get some really great questions all about how grading works. And so the first thing I want to try to do is break down some of the slang that counselors use a lot of. The first off being GPA, which is grade point average. This is the average of all classes taken during high school. So it's the average of all your grades earned throughout all 4 years. There is also the cumulative GPA per year. And what this means is at the end of each school year, so at the end of your freshman year and then the end of your sophomore year, junior year, and senior year, that year will have its own cumulative GPA per year. We then take those GPAs and calculate and average those together to come up with your overall GPA for your 4 years of high school. What's important to note for those of you who are thinking about a 4-year college is that the GPA that is sent to colleges when you initially apply is going to be through the end of your junior year. And GPA is only updated once a year. So it's really updated just at the end of the full year. All the grades are factored in, and that is what will show up on your transcript. I have students email me in the middle of the semester and they'll say, I just tanked a earth science test. What's that going to do to my GPA? And ultimately, as long as the rest of your grades are strong, it's not going to hurt your GPA, and it won't be calculated until your final grade is given for that class. Something exciting for you all to think about will be dual enrollment. And this is an awesome, coming from out of state, this is a great initiative that our state is providing. It's our voucher system. Every high school student in Vermont is allocated 2 vouchers for post-secondary level classes. So that means 2 free college classes. This can begin right after 10th grade, and you're eligible through graduation. So once 10th grade ends, you could do a college class for free, summer going into your junior year. Additionally, you can do them during the school year. We have students, some will do them during the academic semester, some prefer summertime. It's really up to you and what you think is best and what the university or college offerings are. Do know that once you graduate, that's done. So the minute you get your diploma at our graduation ceremony, you're no longer eligible. So we like to get the word out about this sooner than later. It's such a great, 2 free college classes. So this is something you can begin to talk about with your counselor if you're like, oh, I wonder what I could take. We have classes at UVM, CCV, St. Michael's, etc. There are a number of schools in Vermont in this consortium. Deanna Bradley, who's a part of our school counseling team, she's wonderful. She's our dual enrollment coordinator, so you also could reach out directly to her. We've had students, many students over the years. Some will take academic classes, some will take more fun and art classes that they've been really interested in that we don't offer. It is a great way to supplement our curriculum. Any questions on the chat?
Meg, there's a question. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
I was going to say, yeah, the variety of questions. Some of them are about employment, about proficiencies, about weighted versus unweighted GPA. So we are posting answers on the chat.
Awesome.
And if anybody is wondering what sort of questions might be going on right now, please scroll through the chat and you will see what we're talking about.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, so 9th grade. We're encouraging you all to explore and dig deeper. And you get to shape the next 3.5 years, theoretically, because it's November, who knew? So the next 3.5 years of your high school experience. It's a great opportunity to get involved, whether this be clubs, sports, volunteering. We have a wide array of clubs and sports. And so I will include a link to that when I post this on the website. It's also under, if you Google Burlington High School clubs, the list will pop up. It is updated for this year. Our clubs are up and running and our sports are as well, as Mr. Green mentioned, despite the PCV shutdown and also COVID. We are running these in a safe space as we possibly can. Volunteering, and yes, it's a graduation requirement, but it's also a great way to dig deeper into your community and to give back. Volunteering can also be a great way to explore different careers and think about maybe what you like doing. Maybe you don't like taking care of animals at the animal shelter. Maybe you really enjoyed volunteering at Intervale and you want to learn about agriculture and agricultural systems. Also, get to know your team. So that includes us, your school counselors, also your teachers and any support staff that we have. Mr. Green has said it. The administrator assigned to your class is Ms. McBride. She's wonderful. She's a great ally and advocate. If you have questions, concerns, if things seem weird and you see her and you don't see one of us, you're welcome to reach out to her as well. Our student support team, they're a phenomenal group of individuals. So that's Mr. LeVar Barino, Vince Mitchell, Carrie Tewksbury, Molly Duran, Josh Edelbaum, Megan Curley. They are wonderful and they are there at the drop of a hat to help out if you need anything as well. There's a lot of us here to support you. And if that feels overwhelming and you're like, I don't know any of these people, you can start with your school counselor and we can help point you in the right direction. This support will be big because right now everything feels very weird. It's a weird year. But as things progress, as you move through high school and as you mature, there may be different issues that you do need support with, that you do need help with, and all of us are able and willing to support you. Ninth grade is a great time to start linking today to the future. And it's a great time to dream big. And where do you want to go? And what doors do you want to open? One of the heads of Google has a great quote when he was thinking about what he wants to do with his life when he was younger. And he always said, I started thinking about what question did I want to answer? And I always think that's an interesting way to frame your 4 years is, what problems do I see in the world and how do I want to address them? And the problem could be, it doesn't have to be anything global in scale. It could be something you see in your own life. And that's a great way to start to frame making these 4 years of high school meaningful for your next steps in life. Navigating high school, it's quite different from middle school. And this year, of course, this is a very tough year. This is a markedly different year for all of you. I don't know that no one in my generation, I think, experienced a start to high school much like this with COVID and also PCB shutting down our school. As you navigate high school, as you work with your team, which is your school counselor and other support staff, one thing I do have to say is that attendance is key. And yes, even virtually, even in this remote setting, it's so important to be present and to show up. Even if you're having a terrible day, you're not sure, you're like, I'm going to go to Earth Science, but I'm not even going to be able to take any notes. Showing up and taking that step is so important. We know that there are hard days, especially virtual right now in remote learning. We know there are days that it is very tough to motivate. Show up and be present. This also in our remote learning looks also when you're comfortable, when you feel up for it, turning your cameras on. So I notice that personally in a lot of my meetings, which are all online these days. If I do not have a screen on, if they can't see me, if my camera is being wonky, I don't feel as engaged. And sometimes, yeah, I have a pile of laundry behind me because that's life, but that's okay. I want to show myself as present and engaged. If you are in a position where you don't feel comfortable sharing your camera and sharing your video, please reach out to your teacher and just let them know. So that will not be an ask of you. That's something we do want to support. While navigating high school, organization and time management are huge. Organization is certainly a lifelong struggle. I bet a lot of caregivers and families in the room can agree with that. Online, it's tricky. You're going to have a lot of emails. I know that. We're all getting the same. Finding a way to organize your emails and using your calendar effectively so that you're getting the alerts and you know what's next on your to-do list is a big piece of navigating high school. Time management is right there with it. I always encourage people to be busy, not too busy. You want to make sure you're taking time for yourself, but being online all day is very tough. So go out for a walk if you have time during lunchtime. If you're watching younger siblings, see if you can take them with you. Get out at the end of the day if you can. Just try to take that time during the day to pause and to take 5. It'll help your time management for the rest of the day feel a bit easier because you've been able to clear your brain a bit. Also, as a parent, encourage your child to begin identifying 1 or 2 serious interests and look for opportunities to develop them. When I was applying to college a long time ago, the idea was you would have sort of a dozen different activities and those kids got into college and all that. It's very different now. College admissions officials really want to see more depth than breadth. So they want to see students who have 1 or 2 passions and have really gone the extra mile with those and dug deep. And if you're looking for ideas, counselors are a great sounding board to help think of what clubs, we've got a good idea of the clubs. We can help you figure out clubs to join. If you'd like to start a club, we can be a good starting point for that dialogue. But really support your student. And as parents and caregivers, you guys probably know your child the best. So you may be able to especially see where their passion thrives and where they truly shine. And also, I encourage you, I mentioned this earlier, to think broadly and realistically about post-secondary opportunities. The 4-year college for all mantra is definitely going away. College is very expensive. It's not necessarily the best path for all students. And I say that with an equity lens, in that we really want to see all of our students have the opportunity and the achievement to go to a 4-year college, but we want to support everyone in choosing the path that's best for them. So some other options include starting at a 2-year college, so 2-year college, community college, junior college, any of that. They're all the same sort of brand of college. Starting at one of those and then transferring to a 4-year college to finish your degree. Your diploma will still say the 4-year college. That's the beauty of it. You save a ton of money. Additionally, we support students that decide to go into tech schools. There's some phenomenal welding programs. You're going to get matched with a job right out of school and be making great bank, and then you're set, which is wonderful. Additionally, military, we support students who want to enlist in the military, who want to go right to work. We have connections with several community chambers of commerce areas that we can help students network in. A lot of our students, especially right now during COVID, are considering gap years. And that's when you take a year or more off between high school and college, with the idea being that you're not graduating and heading directly into a college, that you're going to take a pause. You could do a structured gap year program, which could send you anywhere in the world or the US. You could also do sort of structure your own gap year program where you stay here locally in Vermont and you're avoiding COVID and you're close to your family. That's becoming a more and more popular choice these days with COVID. Questions on the chat that I should pause for? Okay, thank you. 4-year planning, the 4YP. So this is new to our counseling office this year. And what this does is this really provides a map for your 4 years of high school. So the idea being, starting in January, we're going to be having small group seminars. I don't know yet if they'll be virtual or live. A lot of that just depends on COVID. And what we're going to do is use Naviance, which is our college and career exploration software, to outline the classes you're going to take at Burlington High School. So we have all the classes entered in there. You're going to sit down and you're going to say, you know what, I don't know exactly what I want to do after high school, but I want to keep the door open for a 4-year college. And the counselor that's in that session will make sure that you're picking classes for each year of high school right then and there that's going to connect you to that ultimate goal. That being said, this is a completely flexible plan. So we will be doing that in January. You could change it in February. This is not etched in stone. You're not picking classes for all 4 years, but this is an outline so that we can keep referring back to that main goal. It will link your current coursework to your plan for life after high school. If you are someone who knows that you want to do the tech center junior year, then you know there are classes you need to get out of the way freshman, sophomore year so that your schedule can fit that in. The 4-year plan will help us do that and organize that information in a visual way. If you're determined to to go to Harvard, we can help design a 4-year plan that will get you in that path as well. Not to get you into Harvard, but to get you on that path. So that's January 2021. That's just a couple months from now. We will be starting those seminars, and there'll be small groups. We're not going to be requiring them, but we will be offering them to the broad masses of freshmen. And then we'll be targeting those students that don't attend one of the larger group sessions. And in February, we will begin picking classes for your sophomore year. And this 4-year plan can play a piece in that. So we'll sort of lay some of the foundation to make that hopefully a smoother process, so you're not thinking out of the blue in February, English honors or regular English, what should I do? You will already have an idea and a plan to go by. So now we're going to shift gears and talk about some resources. Again, I can't say it enough. I joke with my team that we are so often the hub. We get a lot of random questions, and that's great. That's wonderful, because we can easily forward an email. We can easily walk a student down the hall and help them see who they need to see and connect to get answers to their questions. Expanded learning opportunities. This is a weekly email all students should be receiving. That's going to have information every week about what clubs are getting together, when athletics are starting, homework help, tutoring, all that stuff. So look for that weekly email. It's valuable, and there's stuff every week that I'm surprised to see and I'm happy to see. There is tutoring and extra help available. We've got that at the Old North End Center, or the one center in the Old North End. And it's a great service. We've got some awesome BHS teachers that stay from 3:30 to 5:30 a couple days a week in order to help students with math, with science, with English, whatever it may be. So definitely reach out to your counselor if you feel like you would benefit from some extra support. Summer programs, there's just a lovely segue in just a minute to some of our programs that we have here at the high school. Summer programs are a great enrichment opportunity for students, and these can really run the gamut. Some of them will look like maybe doing a long weekend at a program here somewhere in Vermont. Some may look at doing a month at a post-secondary college or university where you're living in a dorm, you're eating in a dining hall, and you're taking college classes or college-like classes. All of these are excellent opportunities, and there's all different skill levels, comfort levels with being gone for a month or just a weekend or several days at a time, just doing the day and coming home at night. They really run the gamut, and it's something we do want to support students on. There's not a great science to it. We do know of some great opportunities in the New England area. However, I often advise families, start with a Google search. Like I worked with someone last week, a junior who wants to go into engineering, and we Googled summer engineering programs, and now they're trying to convince their parents that they need to be at Caltech this summer out in California. So there's some great opportunities. And don't ever underestimate Google, but please also feel free to ask us as well, and we can collaborate. So Maggie, are there questions at this point, Maggie and Tony, that I should address, or?
People are just interested in finding out how they can learn about the summer programs.
So Google or your school counselor. And I'll be frank, 90% of the time I Google programs. By now, I think a lot of us have a good idea of what's legit and what's not. There's oftentimes scholarships and financial aid available for families that can't afford to send their child to a college for a month. So there are some great things that we can assist with in that realm. And that's definitely a conversation to have with your counselor. All right. I'm going to turn the tables over. We are lucky to have Upward Bound here tonight. Let me see. I'm not sure if I need to unmute them, if they can unmute themselves.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Matt, welcome. Thank you. I'm going to mute
Alright.
myself.
It's all
Hi,
good.
everyone. So yeah, thanks for having us tonight. My name's Adam Hurwitz. I'm the director of the Upward Bound program through UVM.
All right, and my name is Matt Yu, and I am the assistant program director at UVM Trio Upward Bound. And yeah, I'll start with this. So can we actually go to the next slide? UVM Upward Bound is a federally funded program aimed to help provide limited income and first generation students with a clear and confident pathway to college. So in addition to our connection with the hundreds of other Upward Bound programs hosted at colleges, we help provide resources throughout the school year and summer to our Burlington and Winooski high school scholars. So what could that look like? During the academic year, we help students in a variety of ways, really. Could be connecting them with a tutor through our relationship with UVM Tutoring Center, providing workshops on topics like study skills and navigating financial aid and scholarships, and taking students on college tours, even virtually. I would like to highlight that the bulk of our work happens during our 6-week summer college program, where students take classes to supplement their school year classes on UVM campus. They engage in career exploration opportunities, and they go on college visits as well. They also connect with tutor counselors who are UVM students who mentor them throughout the summer, which is pretty great. So again, our goal is to help students navigate the complex and ever-changing college application process, from planning courses to filling out and checking applications and financial forms, all while trying to provide an enriching experience for our scholars as well. And everything is free. So we recruit freshmen and sophomores, and we have an online application which can be accessed via the link here. And we can also share that link for guidance to disperse as well. So if you have any other questions, you can reach me at the email address provided. And is there anything else you want to fill in, Adam? I think that's pretty much it.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, we have a really awesome community of students, like Matt said, at Burlington and Winooski, who are all interested in the same thing, which is getting to college. And we know that for students from limited income backgrounds whose parents didn't go to college, it can be very daunting and scary to think about what it takes to get to college. So that's what we're here for. And we work with students when they join our program. They stick with us all 4 years. We get to know each other and what you're interested in, so that we can really support you in those goals. But yeah, always available for if you have any questions at all. You email Matt. Our information's on our website. And yeah, we look forward to hopefully having some new students apply.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for being here. And let me just pause real quick before you sign off. Are there any questions in the chat specific to Upward Bound that you guys can see right now?
Not yet.
Okay, cool. So I just can't speak enough great things about this program. It's incredible, and it's an awesome, fun opportunity for students. I think the biggest part is that we hear in the counseling office is how much the students love it. So it's great, it's enriching, but the students also really enjoy it. So thank you, Matt and Adam. I appreciate you both being here and doing that.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep.
Next up, Soren, are you here and are you able to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can hear you. That's awesome. Welcome.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. So yeah, my name is Soren Dews. I'm the VSAC counselor for BHS. And I have like two things to talk to you about. One is going to sound kind of similar to what you just heard. I help, I'm the counselor for the talent search program at BHS. And you might be reading this slide and thinking, Soren, that sounds really similar to what we just heard. And actually the two programs are siblings. So they're very similar, but talent search only meets during the school year. If you're interested in talent search, you just have to meet with me one time a month. And we talk about a lot of the same things. Unfortunately, you can't be in both talent search and Upward Bound at the same time. What is talent search? Talent search is, again, a college access program for students who either, like your family doesn't make that much money, or maybe you would be the first person in your family to go to a college, either 2 years or 4 years, right? If your parents didn't go to college, then you're considered a first generation student. That's just like the name that's given to it. And both Upward Bound and Talent Search are just like to support students who might be like feeling lost. And like I was saying, you can't be in both. And so it's up to you to decide which one is more for you. Upward Bound has the awesome summer program and they go on this super cool trip. And then like some students want to work during the summer. And so they think Talent Search it fits them better. It's really up to you to talk to both programs and decide kind of what's more interesting, sounds like it's going to fit your life better. So that's one thing I do at BHS. The other thing that I do is I also do presentations, which might sound boring, but they're actually pretty helpful. Presentations about financial aid for students and parents. And so you might be saying, we're in 9th grade. Why are you talking to me about this? But you're going to be 11th grade before you know it. So it's good to just start knowing about this kind of stuff early and thinking about, oh, when I'm in 11th grade, I'm going to go to one of these. So basically, I do presentations about how you might pay for college, what kind of different financial aid there is, and then also a workshop where you actually sit with me and we fill out the FAFSA, which is like the big financial aid form. And then in general, if you're like going through your life at BHS and you have a question about college, career, financial aid, and just like want to ask, but don't necessarily want to actually be in a program, you can totally email me. My email's on the slide, so feel free to do that. And Matt just explained what a TRIO program is in the chat. So if you have that question, definitely look.
Awesome. Thank you, Soren. There are so many wonderful programs out there. These are just the two that we work most closely with in the high school counseling office, but we're happy to support your student if they find a great fit for them, or we can try and help them find a great fit as well. So that is the bulk of our information tonight. And now we'll open it up just to question and answers. I'm sure there are many. And we will be posting this recording on the website as well, like I said, probably by tomorrow lunchtime. So you can look for this at the BHS counseling, the school counseling section. We have a freshman page and we'll put this information there. So what are we missing for questions?
Meg, one of the questions that came up was asking if you could explain the difference between proficiency grading and traditional grading, and then how that sort of plays into the college admissions process.
Sure. So at BHS, we're not separating the two. We have proficiencies embedded in our traditional letter grading. And so there's been a shift, and I've only been at the high school for the past year and a half, but there is a shift in the direction of moving more towards proficiencies. Teachers are assessing a level of proficiency throughout the academic time frame with your student. However, traditional letter grades are what we use. So what will show up on their transcript will be A, B, C, D, F. In terms of college admissions process, I'm thinking back to last spring where a lot of this was in the local news with some of the other schools around the state that have gone full proficiency-based grading. We're not on that path at this time, is my understanding. For college admissions, we do send extensive information, counselors do, on behalf of students with their college application. And so the proficiency situation that had happened at some of our other schools in Vermont where students were really they were not getting into college. I don't see happening as long as we maintain the traditional grading system and just including proficiencies into that. So the grade is sort of on the proficiency earned. Each department will set aside different proficiencies that students need to meet in order to graduate. However, that is translated to the traditional academic letter grade. It's a confusing piece, and I'll be honest, I'm just learning this within the past year and a half. There's a wide spectrum of what's occurring in Vermont. Burlington High School, like our other Chitt County schools, are very much more leaning towards the traditional grading system. And I'm happy to, I can send more information. I know there's like a brochure and there's a blurb and stuff, so we can link that with the presentation tomorrow on the freshman part of the website. Other questions? See if I can see the chat. I'm starting at the top, so I'm not sure.
So sorry, Meg. So there's a question which is near and dear to me. Why do you have to do a four years in college? And a point that you made earlier on, 4-year college is not for everyone. There are many different options. There are programs where a student will have a very clear idea of what they want to do, and they can get that technical education and expertise in specific job skills in a 2-year program or in an apprenticeship. Vermont has a very large number of relationships with employers throughout the state where you can be hired and become an apprentice and learn job skills and take state exams and start working, for example, as a plumber or certified electrician. So to answer that question, doesn't have to be 4-year college. Could be 2-year college, could be an apprenticeship.
Thank you, Tony. Awesome. Looks like a lot of these questions have been answered. So the question I'm seeing that I think is, I'd also like to address, do we expect that this year will have an effect on students be able to fulfill requirements to graduate? So I'll break that down. No, most of our students, I don't know of any students that are not able to be in all the classes that they need at this time. The schedule this year was very tricky, and I know it's been a hot topic. The Chittenden County superintendents decided to go with the 4x4 model that we're all doing right now. And so it's not ideal, and we're hopeful for next year. I think it's okay to say this, that we will return to the 8-block schedule as long as COVID numbers are better. The reason for the 4-block that the county went with was because when going virtual, 4 classes at a time is far more manageable than 8. We just saw across the county so many students struggling and being disengaged. So students should, throughout this year, still be able to take all the classes they need to stay on track to graduate, and if not, be working with your counselor on that plan. The language program did take a hit this year, as many of you may not be aware if you have freshmen, but we are looking at that as a larger, hopefully a bigger fix with news maybe in the next month. Anticipate colleges being flexible about application requirements because of COVID times. Yes, and colleges are already, the fact that so many colleges are doing that test optional, meaning they're not requiring SAT or ACT, that is the biggest step that we are going to see. I know you all are 4 years out. For those of you that are thinking about a 4-year college, I imagine this question will stay the same for you. The Common Application, which is the central hub through which many applications to college are sent, has a place for students to enter in how COVID impacted them. So students are saying, I wasn't able to take AP French. I wasn't able to take German 4. I only did 3 years of science. And the counselor also has ample space to provide that same information and context. So there is a lot of opportunity for that to be provided. This is a nationwide, and it's a worldwide issue with COVID. This generation is being hit with some big changes that I don't know when we'll see the end of the ripples, so to speak. But as far as we've been experiencing, this year's admissions results will be a big indicator. Colleges are saying that they're being quite gracious. So, and then, oh, let's see, do you typically work with just the student or a parent sometimes involved? We welcome parents and caregivers to be a part of this dialogue. Like I said earlier, you so often know your student best, and can be such a valuable ally to each other often enough. So absolutely, yeah, I tend to invite parents to a lot of the student meetings I have, just because it helps to be transparent too. And I think the other counselors will agree, and I think parents here may agree, that a lot of times, sometimes when parents hear something, it sinks in a little deeper. Students are getting so much information all the time that it's easier for parents, I think, to filter out what's really important. We do not hold students back at Burlington High School. You keep progressing on to your next grade level, and we have different classes and different programs built in to help students make up credits. Oh, I love that question. Do you expect this class to be in the physical BHS building before they graduate? I don't know. That's a wonderful question. I'm hopeful, but having worked with contractors a lot, we'll see. There's a lot of wild cards, so. Great question, Valerie. The math teachers, there will not be sufficient content to build upon for the next credit. So that's true. I actually just met with curriculum people at CVU and Essex about this, because we're all experiencing the same concerns. So what the plan is just sort of, in the hope, we're all hoping we can return to our normal schedules next year, where there's a lot more academic time. The curriculum time was so cut down this year. So they're hoping to really build in that first eighth, not a whole quarter, but an eighth of just beefing up skills. I know some people are talking about trying to run some summer school programs to really build skills. There is going to be that gap, and that gap is existing. I'm a parent of young children, K through 12. And so that is a big one, but it is something that our team is looking at. And I know I've been working with some of the surrounding teams as well. Awesome. Other questions right now? These are great questions. I really wish we were in person. I miss the live interaction. Well, I really appreciate folks taking the time to be here. Please reach out to your counselor if you have further questions, and we're happy to help. We're happy to connect. We're excited to work with our ninth graders, and I'm just hopeful we'll be able to see you in person at some point here soon. This will be on the website tomorrow, and thank you, and stay healthy.